can't stay here forever. Might have to find a different station because this is some low energy stuff today. Baby, please. Wow, I am going to need to find a new station for music. This one is not going to have the energy I think I need. Good morning, everyone. Happy hump day. Oh, once again, we are going to be experimenting, flying by the seat of our pants to see if we can make this work. I had other plans for today, but they kind of went awry because time was not with me yesterday. All right, so we're doing the itty bitty. This is the flap that y'all helped me pick out. I'm going to decline that. There's the panel we're going to be using. It says, go ahead, make my millennium. I thought that would be kind of nice. Just making sure that I'm prepping everything so that I remember what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to cut here. Oh my Lord, yeah, y'all gonna have to excuse me. I need some higher energy music. I'm trying to wake up. I've got my coffee. I've got my stuff all set, but I am slowly like falling asleep because the music I've had for on. I mean, don't get me wrong, that weapons on top of that. Let's see if a little bit of Pop 2K will help. Okay, there we go. I almost threw everything that I had, all my piles, just on the ground. Okay, so I want it to sit like this. That'll work. Okay, so I'm just figuring out where I want to put my little tag. I think this is where I'm gonna put it. Oh, well, first I'm gonna fix these corners. So as always, I am also casting on the grams and on the tubes. This way you'll be able to go back and watch the video because TikTok does not let me post the whole video and my lives are too long anyways for that. So for those in the replay seats, good morning. I am making the itty bitty bowler from Sew Yours. I am going to do a shaker style flap. I'm going to attempt a shaker style flap. And that is because I don't use a lot of fabric for the outside of my bags anymore. I like the stability of vinyl. And that is one of my hairs. So I didn't have a vinyl that I really liked to go with to match this panel because I don't have the corresponding fabric that goes with that. So I found this one in my collection. It's got little baby Deetsies on it. Lydia's. There we go. Making sure everybody can see. So with that, I'm going to use some clear vinyl, and I found some pretty shaker gems that I think will look really nice. I was really trying to find like a black and lime green mix, but I wasn't able to find one that I liked. And there were Beetlejuice heads that I could have gotten. It just seemed like for a container half this size, it was like $12. And I'm like, I don't want to impress upon that kind of cost. And I would have had to wait like a week to get it. I'm like, I don't really have time for that. So we're going to use these little shiny gems. They're pretty, so I do like them. I'm wearing compression gloves that I got off of Amazon. I wear them when I sew for long periods of time, mainly so that I can keep my hands from cramping up afterwards, because I do have a touch of arthritis in my hands. So I'm very wary of that. Let's see what else. Oh, I've got some Beauty and Geek has some really nice interfacing. I did not know that they had interfacing as well. This is kind of their thicker, stiffer one, and it has a little bit of flexibility to it, so that'll be nice. But it still has some nice stability to it too. I feel like the radio is loud. Let me find. Now where did I put the controller? Y'all, I lose that controller every 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. I might change the magnet I'm doing. No, I think this will be fine. But they also have, they're either going to carry or already have adhesive fleece. And this will be the first time I'm using a sticky adhesive fleece. So I'm going to try it out on buffing up the fabric and stuff for the magnet. So first things I'm going to do, okay, so I like to kind of put my magnet on. Oh, don't forget this. I like to put my magnet on when pieces are ready, so that I'm not, so it aligns just right. And while I'm still waiting for some folks to come on, I'm going to do the slip pocket. So, and that's where I have a tag. Just a plain or just a simple vinyl tag instead of my metal tags. I do put the vinyl tags on so that it doesn't up the cost too much of the bag. Let's see, make sure. I'm trying to make sure you two can see pretty well. There we go. Alrighty. Hello, Tiamat. Do you want to say hi to the world? Come here. This is going to be quick, so make it fast. This is a Tiamat. This is my little dragon kitty. She's extremely unhappy right now, but she gets totally rump times. Okay. She is walking out as dignified as she can at the moment. So with the slip pocket, I cut out the, I want to make sure something. I cut out the inside roughly so that it, I don't have to actually cut the shape out just yet. But I'm making sure my right sides are together because I kind of flubbed something earlier. I wanted to make sure I didn't do that again. Sometimes the waterproof canvases, like this waterproof canvas is from, this is the thinner one, the thicker one's down there. So this one's from Wonderground Fabrics. Theirs tends to be a smidge thinner. They've also got a water resistant canvas. So if you're sewing domestically, the water resistant is really nice. Let's see, so 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oh, Don't you dare. Did you do what I think you did? It's going to be that kind of morning, y'all. I do not know what's going on here. Happy hump day to me. Okay. Now I got to check my bobbin. Good news is it's a nice full bobbin. So what just happened is my tag slipped out just as I was sewing, and it went one stitch into it. Oop, there we go. And then it kind of got a little futzled. Okay, so we're going to try that again. Sometimes when you go to pull a pen, it will shift things. So you always want to make sure that you're holding stuff down. Not like me, who apparently was just like, let's just sew. I haven't sewn since Saturday, so I'm like, I want to sew. I want to sew. Anyways, good news is the coffee's kicking in. Bad news is the coffee's kicking in. Okay, let's see here. Okay, the other reason I do this long is because I'm going to do what I call faux piping. So right now I am going to find my seam roller wherever it went now. I'm apparently not going to find my seam roller. It's probably on the table behind me. So I'm pushing back and really pushing down on that seam. Oh, that went nicely. Yes, this is how I want to do my tags. Okay, now, as I'm pushing over, first I'm going to kind of push where the seam actually would rest. So kind of like that. I have to do it with my tag up. So I'm going to push that, and then I'm going to take the bottom of my pocket and I'm going to pull it down a little bit. And I'm going to tuck the seam allowance right here underneath, and it's going to do that. But the list goes on and on. All right. I have to be really careful. Yesterday, Charlie got tired of my nonsense. I was squishing his tushy like I do sometimes, and he was letting me know that he did not give consent to that. There was no permission given, and so he kind of got me. He bit at me, and he bit me right on my Cupid's bow here. So, yeah. Okay, now I'm not going to sew along this edge at 1/8. I'm actually going to sew along this edge at 1/8. And that way, morning, Sierra. That way, it's going to kind of give this faux piping and a cute little border. I used to cut down the seam and then do the quote-unquote faux piping. I don't know why I put quotes there. However, I did like how Alexis has you do it on the Aura Rosa pattern. The Carolina? The new commuter bag. She has you do that on the pockets. And I liked just kind of how chunky that is. Catalina. No, though. Not the Catalina. That's the smaller one. That's also the waist pouch. I don't know. I actually put up all the purses I had in here. I'd show you which one. But it's the one I call the Catalina the all the time. It's awful. It's bad. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I'm okay. I'm okay. Whoo! Piece of dust hit my throat bad. Yeah, I know you know which one I'm talking about, but I like that. It gives it a little bit more of a stocky top for putting your hand in, and it breaks it up. With the flap over this, you're not really going to see it that much, but that means when you open the flap, you automatically know where to stick your hand in instead of it going, wait, where is it? I love all of Alexis's patterns. I have not gotten the Bella bag. That is on my list because I don't know why. I think I don't have anything to do because I have so much to do. But Saturday's live, I have some really pretty vinyls from Beauty and Geek that I'm going to be testing out for, and I'm excited. So I'm going to be doing the modified Aries, the one that's just got the one pocket, and I'm excited to do that. I have 2 more of these cut out in these designs, and then another 10 of the carpet ones. No, I apologize. There's only 8. So there's a total of 10 itty bitties over there ready to go. Yes, definitely. And I'll be able to do that as a longer video too. I put pumpkin spices in my coffee, and it tastes like pumpkin spice pudding right now, and I am so happy. It doesn't take much. All right, so shaker wallet time. So I have 2 pieces of self-adhesive fleece from Beauty and Geek that she sent me to try. I mean, obviously she sent me more than this, but I thought, let's try it on that to beef up for the magnet. Get over here. So I have my lining face up piece of clear vinyl that I have ironed between 2 pieces of fabric. Don't use a Teflon sheet when you're ironing vinyl. It will take on those characteristics of the Teflon. All right, so we're going to put that down. And then face down, okay, I'm going to clip this. All right. So what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we are going to sew this together. I'm going to flip it out and finagle it into the shape I want, and then I'm going to top stitch it. Before I flip it out, though, because I'll have the stitching on the back, oh, I think the spices are drying out my throat. If you didn't know, cinnamon can dry out your throat super badly. Okay, so we're going to sew it. Then we're going to use the stitch lines on the back to guide us where to put our, what is this? The self-adhesive fleece. Then we'll flip it out, top stitch it, put our magnet in, then our shaker beads, then we'll top stitch that closed. Okay, all right, sounds like a plan, Let's do it. Because this is fabric, I normally would like throw my stitch length down really small. However, I'm also working with a clear vinyl. So we're going to do a compromise and go a little bit lower. get to see how this interfacing holds up too to stitching. This interfacing I got, I didn't know Beauty and Geek also had interfacing, and she sent me a couple types to try. And this is comparable definitely to SoFuse. And I'm very much liking it so far. It's got a little bit more, or a little bit less rigidity than the SoFuse Plus, which means you would be able to double this up without feeling like it's Decoville heavy. And so far, sewing is going very well. It fused beautifully, absolutely no problems. And what I do when I cut out fusing most of the time is, again, I rough cut it. So it did not stick to my Teflon sheet like at all. Like it peeled off so nicely. So definitely a nice recommendation from this. We'll see how it turns out though. That's usually my issues with some. Okay, so yeah, see now I've got this. I mean, you can't really see it. There we go. Because I'm using that same lime green that we used last week. I told you I haven't sewn since Saturday. All right, we're going to you know what? I'm going to have to clip it because I can't see where the edges are. All right. So remember, I have 3 pieces of material here. Waterproof canvas, a thin, it's a thin gauge of plastic. It's not, I want to say it's the blue colored one, but I don't have the lining anymore for it, the paper protector. So I'm not 100% sure what gauge exactly it is. It's not the super thin and it's not thick. I'd say it's like lower medium. Okay. So waterproof canvas, clear vinyl, and then my fabric. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do as well. I'm also going to cut down this top because I really need to be able to see where everything is. There we go. Now I can cut my centers. I'm just making sure to match up my stitch lines. There we go. And I'm going to do one more time to kind of mark my center down here. There we go. Okay, now that I have that, I don't know why I did that. Okay. See, I don't sew through fleecing a lot because I fuse it outside of the seam. It just helps with the bulk in the seams. Not because my machine can't handle it, but because it's just a silly thing to do to put extra bulk in your seam. It's going to strain your seams, your threads and that. And okay, so now I have that piece. That went on really nicely, easy to peel. Feels it. it feels a little more solid, which is kind of nice too. Now we're going to flip this out. Here comes the fun part, because you have to make sure that you're putting your clear vinyl against your outer fabric. That's what I thought. When I clipped the top, I felt the threads get clipped. Oh, so I'm trying to re-stitch that. I went outside the seam allowance. Try that again, because you want to be careful. You don't want to overstitch. I'm just wanting to kind of strengthen these opening stitches. So when I turn it out, it's not coming apart. But I felt myself clip through one of my back stitches, so I wanted to make sure that it didn't come out. So I'm going to kind of just crumple that together a little bit. See, like what it just did there. That is what happens when you don't have everything backstitched well. Or when you do like I did and you clip something. Another reason I don't like using fabric. I feel like it just has such a potential to shred and stuff. But I'm also paranoid, so let's see, wanting to do it on the other side as well. I'm trying not to strain those stitches too much. There we go. Okay. That is not my bone folder. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to take my bone folder out. And I'm going to start pushing out those corners. Now this is a good way too, with the clear vinyl. There are adhesive vinyls. The problem I have with adhesive vinyls is that, no, I don't want you to start a scan. Thank you. The problem I have with adhesive vinyls is that they wrinkle really badly when you turn them out. And it doesn't look as nice to me. Okay, so that's what we got so far. That's cute. I'm liking that. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the pointier end. So right now I'm trying to decide if I want to press this from the back, because I feel like it's wrinkling underneath, but that also may just be me. Yeah, that's just me. That's any little wrinkle in the clear vinyl is going to catch the light. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch around. There we go. I'm going to go a little bit more than an eighth. And that's because I'm trying to kind of sew over, not over the seam exactly, but next to the seam allowance inside. And I'm tugging at the lining from the inside here so that I can make sure that it sits where I want it to. Okay, there we go. Lots more right there. Okay. Look how adorable that is. Ah, so cute. Okay, so I'm definitely liking that. I'm loving where Miss Lydia is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is figure out where I want my magnet to sit. I'm just going to use this because I forgot to cut out the other piece I need. Oh, I might as well do that. So this is the piece that I'm using for the other side. I use a part of the lining, something like that, up top, the vinyl. And then I use the rest is waterproof canvas. I sew it together. I then butterfly stitch open. I trace the piece on there, and then I adhere my Decoville light to it, and then I cut it out. This keeps these bottom seams from being too thick from having the slip pocket. And when you have a bound bag, or honestly any type of bag, you can use this method to take away some of the bulk too, especially if you're sewing on a domestic machine. Anywhere that you can alleviate some of the bulk is going to help your seams sit better, as well as just help you not have to fight with the material so much. Not so tough just because I'm in love with an uptown girl. Okay, there we go. I need little pieces for my strap ends, so that's, I almost forgot to do that. So see, and then when you put the slip pocket on it, you're really not going to see it. Okay. Oop, come here, you. Get rid of my my husband loves this song by Blink 182. It's I Miss You. It's a good song. I guess I could have just like traced around this with a pin and then and then cut it out, but there we go. There we go. And we've got that cut out. I should mark my centers. Ta-da. And yes, I know the stripes are going different ways. You're not going to see this. Because by the time you add on, the flap, most of the sides here, you're not going to see this. You will when you open, but I mean, it's Beetlejuice. Of course, there's a little bit of chaos. Okay, but the reason I was doing this, oh, that's my computer being loud suddenly. All right, so doing placement mainly because I want to see where I want the magnet to go. And I think about where I've got the thing. Okay, cool. I'm going to set that aside for a moment. I'm going to use a heat erase pen. So that I can mark a place and a line just in case it's not covered up by the magnet, I can get rid of the marking. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to be using that heat erase marker. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put the outie. I'm going to put the outie on the flap so that it's not taking as much strain. I'm going to use... You are more than welcome to put your magnet on. Come on. Really? Come on. You're more than welcome to put your magnet on before you sew everything up. I've just always found it easier to do it this way. I go here. You also just want to be very careful. First of all, you want to make sure that you're going on just your waterproof canvas and stabilizer, not your outer fabrics. For a moment, I got my nail. I was like, oops. Which I'm getting my nails done today, so I guess that would be okay if I sliced into my nail on accident. Ow. I need to get a new blade, so I know that's why my scalpel is having a problem going through everything. There it goes. Because, yeah, with the scissors, it went through just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to use my tweezers. One, because they're long AF, and two, because it's just a little bit easier to hold it and to look inside, because then my hand's not in the way. Wait. Okay, there we go. This takes a little bit of maneuverability and getting used to doing that. Okay. All right. I'm going to still put a little piece of tape over the magnet prongs because I want to make sure that it doesn't rub against the fabric. Okay. Now I will say the fleece does give it the feeling of extra there, and I don't feel like this is going to come off or get pulled out. So that is definitely a good thing. Okay, so that's ready for, let's see how well this works. Thankfully, the only thing I have to worry about it getting in the way of sewing is when I sew the finality of it. So it's like, how many is too many? Like, I feel like that has a nice rattle. Oh, I like that because then it looks like it's kind of trying to overtake her. Yeah, I think any more and it's going to be too many. And it should be easy to keep them down there when I'm sewing. Okay, now what we have to do is, for the moment, I feel like, okay, so just mark this down as the moment that I feel like I'm going to regret not top stitching this closed. But as you know, I don't like to top stitch things too many times. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment. Actually, no, I'm not, because I set it right there because I need to make sure that the placement for the zipper is right. So we are going to, or the other side is right. Okay. So I'm pinching those close. I pinch that way it doesn't move on me when I go to go around. And you could just press down if you wanted. I try not to overcrease things, especially when it comes with Decoville light or heavy, because they don't really have a lot of extra movement. They don't have any stretch to them. Here we go. Why is that so good? Oh my Lord, that is so good. Churro syrup with almond milk and pumpkin spice with a little bit of chocolate syrup. I know it sounds like a lot. It kind of is, but it's so good. Alrighty. Give me the heart, make it real, or else forget about it. Now here I'm going to kind of crease a little bit, but when you have things like this, yes, basting this would be a lot easier. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking my hand in the middle and I'm running it along the middle and then pinching it. And that should give me a chance to get both the lining and the exterior. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to pinch this onto here. Oh, okay. I'm like, why is that catching weird? Okay. Now we're going to not attach per se, but we're going to make sure that that's actually, and remember, in any type of bound bag, you don't want it to be completely flush against the bag. You want to kind of lift it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is get my silver marking pen. We're going to see if this works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends on the vinyl and the metal of your magnet. But what you can do sometimes, especially with the silver marking pens, is you can draw and like hit the dots so it leaves some ink on there. And then we're going to push up that a little bit, not too much. Sit it right there. So it's sort of marked, but it also gave an impression. So I had two things that I could really look at for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the slip pocket off. I'm going to leave my flap on. There's no reason to take it off. And I'm going to take my piece of it, my fleece. I'm confident that I pushed up the flap enough, so I'm not going to move. Come on. There we go. I'm not going to move my dot up or around. Just trying to make sure that the fleece actually goes where the magnet mark is. Okay. So now I've got that piece of adhesive fleece there. I love the thought of the adhesive fleece mainly because scraps are going to be so useful. So useful. And I know that Hillary is not the first to have this fleece, but I'm so grateful that she sent some in my strike package so that I could try it out. I'll know by Saturday if it's in stock or it's going to be purchased, like ordered. Alrighty. So I used my prongs to trace marks for the prongs. I used the washer. What did I say? Okay. Alrighty. Put our washer on. Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't really have to make sure that's straight. It's a magnet. Okay. Now, let's say you put the magnet on, you line it up, and it is, one of the greatest mistakes of your life, and you went to prom with your cousin and lied about it. So this is now a huge mistake. The way to fix it is to just go ahead and pull it out, pull the magnet out, and cut yourself out a little decorative piece of vinyl, sew it over that hole or where you're going to be putting your magnet. Now, if all you're having to do is go up a smidge, I promise you, all you have to do is cut those slits a little bit more and just make sure to put like a touch of glue or something behind it. But if it's here, or if it's over here, and it really should be over here, just make yourself a full strip or some sort of decoration that will hide it. That is going to help you hide that was a mistake. Nobody will know but you that wasn't meant to be a mistake. Except other sewist friends, we love to tell them, oh, you should see what I had to do to clean up this mistake. Like, we love to share those war stories. So I'm going to go ahead and put my magnet underneath, clip it on, and I'm lining up my bottom marks. And that's because I want to make sure that the flap pushes up and doesn't push my slip pocket down. Okay. And then I'm just kind of going around. And this will have a nice little puff to it, which is what you want. And then what I'm going to do, of course, when I get to the top, is I'm going to push open or push that seam a little bit in. You don't want to go more than 1/8. Somehow I've been turning this left and right, and these little things have not gone everywhere. So thank you, sewing gods. I appreciate your assistance, and my patronage will always be greatly enhanced as much as I can. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to make sure that everything's lining up nicely. Again, I've got that poof here. You're going to have that bump until it's sewn completely, and then it's going to pull that back. But this also means that your pocket can poof out a little bit. All right, now what I need is one of my backs. Okay, so because I know on Lauren Mormy knows the way to know the right side and wrong side of her her water resistant waterproof canvas is if you scratch your nail along it, it should leave a white line. I also wrote on the back of mine, I forgot, but with Wonderground, it does that a little bit, but you can also feel the difference. One side feels a little bit more silky, if that makes sense. So that's just kind of how I have come to make sure that I'm on the back side. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how you were mocking me. It's part of your property. I'm not worried about clipping all the way around. Again, these are rough cut pieces, so it's a little more difficult to clip all the way around anyways. Mainly what I've done is I've clipped the bottom area, and I'm going to start at the top where my flap is so that I know these gems aren't going to go everywhere. That's pretty much a reenact. That's a prediction of them going everywhere. Oh, I love how they sound. These have a nice, satisfying noise to them. Okay, so where are you at? Trying to make sure that it stays in the middle. I am doing a little double stitch, a little back stitch over the flap edges, like 1 or 2, not going overboard there. Just like when I get over here, okay. Just like when I get over here, I'm going to make sure that I'm pushing that seam in just a smidge. I'm going to go straight over and back, and then I'm going to line myself back up with the rest of the pocket. I'm doing my best to do like a scant 1/8. I am just literally barely tacking these together for just about all of it, except for where the pocket is pulled in. I'll show you real quick what I mean when I say when you want to do extra stitches in a place with vinyl, that you don't want to over perforate. See, right there. Maybe. It's a little hard to see. I'm so sorry. But there's stitching right there, and then there's a little chicken foot right here. So stitching, chicken foot. The chicken foot is good because it's still inside the seam and it's adding strength without taking away stability of it. But now we have, all I have to do is clip around. So I'm kind of angling my scissors this way, and keeping the, let's see, I'm doing this. And what that's doing is I'm going underneath my outer shell so that I'm not cutting the outer shell. Trying not to, at least. And cutting all of that extra. What that does is it helps with the bulk a little bit. It also means that you're not going to, when you're putting this together, be following the wrong set of lines. You're actually following your outside lining, not the inside. I have just found it helps me. Okay, so now we have, oh, and see what's going to help is this little bump here is keeping the gems from going into where I'm going to be sewing. That is really satisfying. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew. It is 10 to 9. We are doing amazing. And if you're sewing along with one of these, you're doing amazing too. And if you're not, you're doing amazing as well on that. All right, so wrong sides together. Just making sure I actually put wrong sides together on that. Thankfully, I usually, just in case I mess up, I will write my notes in little areas. Actually, I need to write my little note. Okay. Yep. And then we're just going to stitch this together. This is the side that you would be putting in a zipper pocket if you were following the directions for this side. I know y'all are probably getting kind of tired of seeing all these itty bitties. I'm just trying to get my con stuff prepared, and in that I always batch sew the same pattern so that my mind can kind of just relax a little bit and go into the sewing, and I can listen to my book. Well, hello, good morning, sir. Come on. Hey, where's mommy's kisses? Yeah? You sorry? You sorry you hurt mommy yesterday? Mommy's sorry that she didn't listen to you when you swished your tail at her. Try not to get too close to the scissors here, my love. You done? Did you say hi to everybody? Go on, weirdo. Alrighty. So I have my nail appointment today, so I have to be done with the live by 11 so that I can get a little bit of lunch because it never fails. It never fails. To be honest, I'm going to be hungry by the time I leave there anyways, and that's mainly because of the fact that at some point we end up start talking about food. It always happens. Let's see. So that's the panel. That's pretty much it. I mean, you could put a little slip pocket inside. If you have, like, if you do the con goers. Oh my Lord, that hurt getting up, y'all. I'll have to tell you about what happened Monday. Monday was a day. So this is the convention con goers. This is the middle that you cut out so that you can put a clear piece. If you wanted to, this would be a great place, now that I think of it, of course, to put this little just like card pocket there. So cut it in half, just fold it in half. All you have to do is fold that in half, top stitch, and then top stitch it right in the middle, maybe closer to the bottom. And then people can just put a little card, or you could do a set of card slots going up. I think there are card slots in this bag now that I think about it. I just don't remember. Okay, so we have that going on. Oh, really? I love that one. Well, he had a really cute Halloween one, but I'm thinking he didn't like the smell that came off of it or something because he kept like washing it. So he pretty much washed it to where it looked like it was felted, and it was starting to get caught on his jaw, so I had to take it off of him. He hasn't had the same problem with this one, so I just really think he didn't like that collar. That other collar, which is a shame because it was such a cute little Halloween collar. A little Halloween kitty cat. Actually, he's a summer kitty. He just had his birthday. He is 3 years old. Good God, he's 3 years old already. I don't want to think about how old my other cat is. I think she's like 8 or 9 now. No wonder she doesn't put up with his nonsense. Boy, the other day, he went over to her and she just went whack right across and he just walked right back away. She's like, not today, young blood. I am not dealing with you. Oh, I guess I could put those in here, huh? He is my special boy. He got a little upset at me yesterday. If you having cats, you know that when their tail starts to swish, they're letting you know they're either playful or not happy with the situation. And I think he wanted to be put down. I think he was also unhappy he was being taken out of the room that he really wanted to be in for God knows why. And so I went to snuggle his face like I do when I'm holding him papoose style, and he bit me right here. So he did meow a little bit, and it did sound a little regretful, like, I did not mean to bite you in anger, mother, but put me the fluck down. So I've been dealing with that, and that was fun. And then Monday was fun. I learned some valuable lessons on Monday. I'm still paying for these valuable lessons, by the way, because for some reason I was just having a real good day. Oh no, Monday I got so much done. Yeah, they're definitely battle scars. Actually, I almost hate to say it, but it's right on my Cupid's bow. So when he did it, it puffed up right there. I was like, Is this a new beauty treatment? But no. So I was doing really good on Monday. I knew I had to go grocery shopping as well, but I got so much done. I got packages out. I got an order that popped in the night before even out. And I was just feeling great. I even got everything set. I found a good piece of meat at Winn-Dixie on sale that was just the perfect amount for us. And then I went to Sam's. And at this point, I'm hungry. So I'm starting to get a little giddy. And for some reason, I decided that I was a teenager again. You know, I was never a graceful teenager then either, so I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. So I'm going back to the car with the cart, and you know how you used to as a kid, you'd be able to ride the cart? I decided to ride the cart. So the lessons I learned on Monday were, I'm not under 30. I'm not under 30, let alone under 20. Even the tiniest pebble can screw up your whole day. But at least the bushes are soft at my Sam's. Oh, actually, I learned 4 things. There are still kind people in the world who won't record you doing dumb things. So as I'm riding the cart, I was about to, a part of my mind was like, is this a good idea? Because I feel like this might not be a good idea. So I went to put my foot down to start slowing myself down. Oh, I've got double-sided tape on my zipper pieces. Centers are marked. I'm going to mark centers on my tape so I can keep that nice and straight. And then I'll mark the edges so that I can take it apart as well. So I seem to have lost my marks. Here we go. Yeah. I feel like I'm complicating this. So as I'm rolling down the hill, I do feel like suddenly I'm picking up speed because there was a small hill. It wasn't much. It was just enough for me to pick up speed that when the cart hit this tiny pebble, it shook back and forth and then threw me. The cart stayed upright, but it did throw my lunch of a soft pretzel and a piece of pizza and me into the bushes. Now, I do distinctly remember hearing a "ho" when I got thrown. So that's how I knew somebody saw the whole thing. Not too big of a deal. And I say the thing about my youth mainly because of the fact that it is 2 days later and copious amounts of Advil and heat, and I am still feeling this pain. I am not a bounce back kind of girl anymore. Mainly the news is I'm okay. I'm just sore and bruised a bit. And like, okay, so I'm telling my gaming group in the messenger, and my husband texts me, "Hon, you okay?" I'm like, "I'm okay." Oh, the 2 guys that helped me out of the bush were like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, well, that's definitely not going to be quite the what did I say? I said, I will be. For now, I am in an immense amount of pain. I don't think I'm bleeding, so I'm going to chalk that up to a win. And I said, were either of you taping that by chance? And they're like, no. I'm like, then I'm going to chalk that up to a win as well. I don't need proof on the internet of my stupidity. I do enough of that as it is. But luckily, what was really nice is I was like, man, my lunch. Okay, well, that sucks. So one of them is helping me make sure that everything's okay, that nothing's broken, that all my stuff is still in the cart, except of course for my lunch. And then I noticed the other guy disappeared. I'm like, oh, well, maybe he was on break, and I don't want him to be late because of me. I don't want anybody to get in trouble because I decided it was a good idea to ride a cart today at 44 years old. Anybody that says with age comes wisdom, yeah, take that piece of context with a grain of salt. But then I saw the guy coming running back over, and in his hand was a piece of pizza and a pretzel. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. He went back and he got them to replace my lunch for me. Even better, that pretzel was right out the oven. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but Derek and Adam at Sam's, thank you. You were great. And I totes appreciate it. I made sure to do my survey and tell them that they were extremely helpful. I didn't tell them about what, but I told them they were helpful. So, oh God. Oh no. Oh, I hope it's not one of those weeks. So every once in a while, I have a week where it's just every day I get injured. It's just random things. I don't know why. I'll just have a week where every day something happens. So I've been injured on Monday and I was injured yesterday. The worst part is both times were because of my own inability to look at the situation with wise eyes if we want to be kind. If we don't, it's because I did stupid things. So we'll see how today goes. Hopefully, it's just the beginning of the week. Just how it's going to be. So I did take apart the zipper so that I can chain stitch everything. And that's why I marked the ends of where the zipper tape or the zipper panel is so that it's the same on both sides. If you're using a printed zipper tape, you're definitely going to want to make sure to do that as well. Okay. Now, I could have chain stitched open the top stitching, but on this small panel, I really have to make sure that it's completely off the machine and that I don't like the vinyl sitting under the foot, especially if it's a soft, smooth vinyl. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Oh, yeah. Even better, by the way, with my strike package, I got some edge coat paints to try. This blue, red, and teal, they're glitter. Now, I'm going to try something because this is already kind of a pinkish. I'm going to add a little bit of this lavender in it when I do the Aries, the modified Aries this Saturday. And I'm going to see if I can mix a non-glitter and a glitter to get this kind of pinkish color I really want to match the vinyl I'm working with. It's going to be a little Sailor Moon bag. I'm so excited. Okay. I just don't know where my seam thingy went. Dang, fairies took it again. Okay, so I've pressed open the waterproof canvas or my lining seams. And then I'm going to take the seam allowance and start pushing it behind the zipper panel. And I'm just going to slide my hand just right along it a couple of times. And then I'm going to push them together. Now, I always cut my lining larger because I can never remember which one has stretch or not. And I don't want it to be short. So I'm going to kind of pull my zipper down just a little bit. Now, what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm not yanking this. Because see, what happens if you yank it? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. But the stitches start to show, see? So what you want to do is make sure that it's sitting nicely. We're having it over for tea, not an interrogation. So it's kind of this delicate balance of pushing out the waterproof canvas or your lining while pushing back in a little bit. So I'm taking my fingers and I'm pushing in so that it relaxes that stitching. But you want your waterproof canvas to be tight so that the zipper doesn't end up catching. There we go. As I stare into the oblivion to try to... I'm glad I stuck with this green thread, though. It's looking so nice against the purples and that. All right. So yeah, my week's been exciting. Okay. And that's kind of why I'm pushing from the back too when I do this. There we go. Because again, you don't want to yank at your lining or at your exterior. You want your lining to be tight and your exterior to be a little relaxed. So what I do is when I pull up here, I am grabbing the zipper teeth and the lining. And then I'm just kind of situating the zipper teeth as I'm pushing the exterior down and in. Okay. I hear you back there. What are you doing? Charlie's the only one that has a bell on his collar now. And that's because Tiamat honestly doesn't get into much trouble. And I don't want her blamed for something that he did. But I also don't want him blamed. So if I hear a crash and I don't hear a bell as things go running away, I actually do know that that's Tiamat. But if I hear a crash, okay, so when I hear a crash, then I know it's him because of the bell. Okay, so now I did place things so that the stripes would be continual. See, so it's purple, white, purple, white, purple. And the zipper kind of helps with that too. So let's see. By the way, something new on the website at Fat Rabbit Supplies is the zipper helper. This one's mine, so the printing's a little off, but they are an ombre, and they're a little bit more rainbowed because the batch he did this last time, there was more than one on there, so it was able to get more colors in. Excuse me. So it is a 3-piece set with a screw and a cap. The cap will help it to connect and not have to have that screw digging into your table. So just set it on there. And he asked me if I wanted it to be taller. And actually, I like a little bit lower because it feels like you can do this then instead of having to go up and, you know, push yourself up a little taller. It's easy to take off and move. So what I do is I have mine to my side, to the side of my table, and I just have it like a little loose, like that, so that it's easy to grab. And then when I put it over here, it's a quick turn, and then it's, as you can see, it's shaking things on the table because it's pretty stuck on there. Here is my zipper pull. Okay, so what I'm going to do, line those up. All right. Now I'm going to put my zipper pull on, but I'm just going to pull it all the way through because I want to make sure that my zipper is complete. Okay. And see, no wavy, no bending. We're good. I'm going to leave this right here because what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go trim this, and it's easier to trim when it's not, when you don't have to worry about that zipper being in the way. I can use my ruler, my pull ruler. Oh, mother of God, why? So I do have to trim my zipper panel because I do a 1/4 inch. She does have it to where I believe she uses a 1/4 inch anyways on this, but any other zipper panel I generally have to trim because I don't do a 3/8 on my zippers anyways. 2 reasons. 1, I don't have the foot, and 2, I don't feel like changing it. Actually, 3 reasons. I also like seeing the zipper. It's so pretty. Why would I hide it? So when I trim it, I put the ruler into where the marking is, however big your panel was supposed to be. So if you have, say, a 2-inch panel and you did a 1/4 inch, you set your ruler down with the 2-inch mark going down the middle of your zipper teeth and then trim. Even if you do 3/8, it's not a bad idea just to make sure that everything's nice and straight, because look at how pretty that zipper panel is. Now, before I forget, I'm going to put my zipper pull on. Okay. There we go. Nope. There we go. Yes. There we go. Okay. I really do like this zipper jig a lot. Not just because I'm selling them on my website. He has been working on this for about a month and a half on the side. So, and he asked me to, It was like, please don't tell everybody about it just yet. I want to make sure that it works properly. Now, mine has a small screw. There's no way to talk about this without it going downhill fast. So we'll just go with it. So I'm okay with a small screw, but you might need a larger screw because you have less thickness to deal with. So if you have a very thin table, then it can go the larger screw will let you go all the way up to the top. Or if the thickest table it can do is 2 1/8. So you'll want it before you buy it. Please make sure the thickness of the table that that this can accommodate you with the screw that I send you. So there we go. That'll be a fun playback. All right. I just want to make sure. So just giving everybody another look at it because I like it so much. Good morning to those that have just joined us. We are working on finishing up an itty bitty. So there's the back panel, and I have made a shaker flap, which is way more fun than it should be. But I digress. Okay. Now, you can use D-rings. I use square rings because when I put on the, I'm going to put this over here right now. When I put on the webbing, I'm not going to put it as removable. It will not be a detachable strap. I need the webbing. So I am trying to decide, do I still even have any of that? Yes. That is a choice. I really like the hands. Where did the other one go? There it is. Stay. So what I'm trying to decide right now is, do I go traditional with a striped glow-in-the-dark webbing, or do I do a fun hand one? This is actually a thing for the Wednesday TV show. It's got a little bit of just kind of this green and purplish coloring in the background. And I really do like the hands because they do match kind of the theme. And I know it's mixing fandoms, but why shouldn't we mix fandoms? Usually if you like Beetlejuice, you also like Wednesday. And it's kind of this cute little Easter egg. I'm going to do this one. I talked myself into it. That and I'm running real low on that glow in the dark. All right, let's do this. So I need 2 pieces. So that is 5 hands that way. And I do my straps about 60 inches long. So my ruler here is 24 inches. So what I'll do is I'll measure out the 24, then measure out 6, fold it in. So now that's a total of 30 inches there. And then I bend it in half and then go down here. And that gets me 60 inches. I need to get more lighters though, because I saw this really cool machine that you turn it on and you just kind of push the webbing through it and it singes it. It pretty much burns it. Like, I wish it was shaped like a lightsaber because that would be awesome. Like, right? How awesome would that be? I like really making sure that the ends are sealed really well. If you ever buy a bag from me and you really like the strap, but it's affixed to the bag, and you're like, well, I want to buy another bag, but I would love this strap, then I will just have you cut off the strap because I have ways to lengthen it. So if you just carefully cut it and then undo it and send it to me, I can add it to the bag, and I will take the price of the strap off the bag for you as well. Let's see. Now I need strap ends. I thought that was Chris. Okay. That's actually an idea. Boy, it is a very overcast day. I think my husband was really hoping to do some yard work today, but I don't think that's going to be possible. It is very, very gray outside. That'll be perfect. Okay. So normally the way I do my straps, if it's a detachable, is I do create a piece that's going to go around the bar of the swivel hook. Let's see. Brenda, what do you mean? The zipper pull attached? You couldn't find the helper on the website? And good morning, Frida. How are you today? Okay. I thought it was a grumpy face. I was like, oh no, what happened? So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of attaching it to the end of this, I'm still going to attach it to this when I put the strap on. So it'll be like, oh, I like that. So it'll be like that. And then it'll have this piece going into the gusset. I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. Okay. Yes. Oh, I was like, oh, crackers. Where'd it go? Okay. So all we need to do is a couple of things. So many things everywhere. Alrighty. Now I'm just clipping the corners. Oh, the attacher, the helper. Yeah, if you look up zipper on the Fat Rabbit Supplies website, the link in my bio has the link tree that has all the links. And I do cast on YouTube as well as Instagram. So if you're wanting to go back and rewatch, or you missed a part, or you had to leave early, you're more than welcome to go back onto YouTube and watch the video. And I appreciate any subscribers. I'm trying to get there. I actually might have a contest coming up soon, or a giveaway, not a contest, I guess. Okay, so that one's going over there for right now. These are there, and this needs a piece of tape. Come on. There we are. There. Stay. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece on here. Kind of fold it in half a little bit just to see where it's going to sit. And then I'm going to move my zipper panel over here. So what I used to do is fold over so I didn't have that raw edge of the webbing. But I have found that I do like a little cover over it instead. It seems to be nice and softer. Alrighty. Just going to do a little square. And I'm going to back out of the room. There we go. Like, I don't mind a removable strap on my bags. The problem is that it adds another 2 pieces of hardware. And it also forces me to use D-rings. Because you can't, it's not really good to use D-rings with swivel clips. No, I'm just setting it like this so that it's kind of out of the way. And this way, what I can use is all these rectangle rings I have. I have so many rectangle rings. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew a line as far as I can go. And then backstitch back down. The reason I don't sew across underneath is, one, as close as I can get, it's not going to be seen. And this way, if it does actually get to a point of being seen and I don't like how it looks, it's not going to matter. This just feels more secure to me. Okay, so ta-da! Wait till you see the lovely lime green webbing I have for the Golden Girls bag. I'll show you the panels for the Golden Girls and the Stitch. I think I'm going to be able to do lime green on both of those. And I think I might do hot pink thread Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to kind of situate that. I try to situate it in between my top stitching. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to top stitch my zipper panel closed. Oh, I saw this. I was like, oh God, did I not put my zipper pull on? Already seen me have to fix that. Yeah, it's going to pour. And something about Georgia, I've noticed it is a very Georgia thing. Is that a lot of people, for some reason in Georgia, is the moment it gets wet or moist in the air, they have the inability to drive normally. They start crawling or not paying attention, and it's just like, what is going on? Come on, you. I want you to go in a certain spot. Yep. It's okay. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now I've got that top stitch or that basted down on those sides. I've got my, and this will get tightened up. Now, that's one of the reasons why you do it across here, is to tighten up the ring so it's not like all floppy and going everywhere. The way I do this seam, it's going to tighten it down. It's still going to have a little bit of looseness, but you want, when it's in this gusset, to have a little looseness so that it can plop down when you're putting your zipper in, or when you're unzipping and zipping your bag. You want to be able to put it in that. And with this bag, I only use one zipper pull. It's a small bag. It's not that big of a deal to me. You don't have to go searching that hard to find the zipper. And it's another thing where I'm looking at the cost of the bag. I always strive to make my bags cost effective as well as not undermine my costs. So if I can alleviate something and help with that cost, like with this bag, I have taken 2 swivel clips off, a metal tag, and a zipper pull. That's like $6 or $5. That's at least like $6 to $8 worth of hardware that I'm not using, that I don't have to put onto the cost of the bag, plus my time to make the bag. Gusset. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Alrighty. And as always, with this bag, you're going to have little kitty ears poking out. As long as they're not like massive amount of material, you're good. But you should have tiny kitty ears popping out. Okay, so I've got right sides together of my zipper. This is going to drive, this bag is going to give some people so many issues, because as you can see, the stripes are going this way on the gusset, but they're going straight this way. Now, I did that though on purpose because I want these stripes to match up. same direction at least. We'll see how well it goes with matching. Oh my God, my OCD is going to be so mad at me. All right, so, and then I've got right sides together. Again, I do cut my gusset pretty much just about all the pieces for the inside of this bag are rough cut. They're just measurements. And I do that so that when I'm cutting out multiples, say for the carpet royalty bags, I use the same lining and I use the same contrast. So with that, that means make sure your hardware is out of the way and that your zipper pull is still in the middle. What that means is that I can do the math. So if it's 58 inches long and I need a certain measurement 10 times, or in this case 16 times, then I do the math, which is going to give me the best without too much extra, and can I get something out of that extra? So I incorporate math a lot more than I think most do in their sewing. But that's because I'm constantly batch sewing. I also have this, like, I hate the thought of wasting material and not being able to use it and running out. That was weird. I thought I heard something. Okay, but with that though, when you do rough cut, make sure that everything's going to still line up. Like this is just a smidge bigger. And this is where, of course, I had to let a little bit of a miscut. Let me see. There you go. Now you can see it. See, it kind of goes down. So this little miscut, it's going to be in the seam, and in this, it's within the seam allowance, so that's fine. Now, see, weird squirrel. You can see just a smidge of where my stitching came up, but see, that sits nicely. To me, that sits nicely because it means that this can be pushed up and the zipper can go into that section without it being an issue. I want people to be able to open the bag all the way. It's such a small bag. I mean, it's an adorable bag. And I know some folks that absolutely adore this bag because of its small stature. There we go. So I'm going to up. As I get here, where's my helper? I'm going to get my little hump jumper. Put that there. Is that the thin side? Yes, that's the thin side. This is going to help me not have any weird stitches on the back. Oop. Now, what you can do, by the way, is if you don't like back stitching in your top stitching section set, just come over here. Let me get to where I actually want to be. There we go. Just when you get to the end of where you're top stitching, just turn your project and then back stitch into your seam. Let me show you. I don't mind because my back stitch is usually is always in my seam. So, but see, when I got here, I just went down and then back stitched. Okay, so that's one side done. Now we're going to connect the other. My stomach's going to start growling because it's what? 9:45. So, of course. I'm actually surprised it didn't start growling earlier. I sadly am out of trail mix, so I do need to pick up some this week. Okay, so we clipped right sides together of everything on here. Stitch that down. Making sure my hardware is not in the way. Backstitch at the beginning and the end. And clip my tails. Now I am leaving my zippers this long because there's no reason for me to cut it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it all the way out, check and make sure everything looks nice. And then I'm going to turn it right side back. Hi! He's playing with his sister. Yeah? Ow! Graceless oaf. Just making sure he didn't scatter anything important. He did throw the zipper helper on the floor, but you know. Okay, so I'm going to turn this inside out so we have that theme. I'm going to make sure I'm on this. All the skittering is my cat. He failed his audition to be in the next Fast and the Furious because he doesn't know how to Tokyo drift. So I'm going where my panel's already top stitched here. And I'm just going to smooth while not flattening too much of it. And if you want, you can go ahead and clip here too. I generally clip as I go, especially if I feel like the lining is shifting weird, because I want to make sure that that the lining is in the seams. And then I push a little bit more, clip, clip, skitter, 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 crash, skitter, 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 crash. It clips. Yeah, he is in fine form. If I thought my life wouldn't be put into danger by trying to show you how much of a raccoon tail he has right now, I would quickly grab him. Okay, so it looks like I cut my my lining a little bit longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fold that down some. But mainly we want to just make sure. I'd rather the lining be a little bit bigger than smaller. Really? Sometimes these clips bother me because they get caught in each other. Okay, so I'm going over this way. That's what it was. It was the Erica that I did Saturday where I forgot the zipper pull. Okay. Now, as you can see, that is going up more than I really want. So I'm going to do something a little weird. I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to push down my lining. It's going to take a little finagling. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to use strong clips and clip right at the corner there. Because what I want to do is then push this little bump that's there. It's not a big one, but it's going to bother me. Mainly, I'm just trying to kind of fold it. There we go. So see, now this is going to be a lot to sew through, actually. Okay, there we go. It's going to have a little bit of this extra like step piece. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I've got that little, it's got a little fold. It's going to be inside. Nobody's going to see this. And there's really no reason to undo this and clip that at all. So I'm just going to sew a little bit lower than an 1/8, probably about 3/16. You don't have to go there. Okay. Ah, there you are. Get my hump jumper. Using a hump jumper on hump day. Okay, here we go. Now it felt like my connector was a little bit like crooked, so I'm just kind of pulling it, and that way when I sew through it, it's going to sit where I want it to. Alrighty. Kind of having to maneuver things here a little bit. All right, there we go. There we go. Also, if you don't want to backstitch at the end, because you know it's going to push trying to go back uphill, just turn your work around and just do a regular stitch and then a backstitch. Okay, so like I said, it's going to have this little like step piece in there. But the way I caught it, I also could have just like cut it and then folded it over and put it through. That also would have worked because it's just the lining. You're just stitching that closed. All right, so there's a couple of ways to maneuver that around. Or you could have even just left it alone and not top stitched it and just let it kind of sit. It's just, it would have been baggy, and that would have bothered me more than anything else. Okay. So now I'm going to baste my gusset together. Be real careful over this spot. Oh, yeah, I am hungry. Where's my coffee? Drown the hunger. Okay. Oh, this is trapped. I don't know why I thought Lincoln Park for some reason. Okay. So yeah, there's that little spot right here where I kind of had to let it not be a perfect cut. But I didn't go into that cut. I went right over where it should be. And what that's going to do is give me a chance to cut right along it. And then it'll be like it didn't even happen. Okay, now I'm going to... if you have a problem with getting your gusset to sit properly, like it feels like it's twisted inside, that will be alleviated in 2 ways. One, if you sew your gusset baste it close in the same direction. That does help. What helps even more was what I did, where I smooth it out as I go and let the curve dictate where the gusset should sit. Ever since I started doing that, I have absolutely very, very few problems with my gusset. Now we're going to trim this down because, of course, I have extra. Now it's so fun. And again, I'm angling my scissors underneath so that I'm getting a little bit more of that lining. And my gusset wasn't quite lining up, so I just trimmed just a smidge. It didn't need that much at all. Hang on. I feel like I always have the scissors too close to my face at times. Let's see. So yeah, see, you can see right there that it goes to here and then it pops off to there. See? There. So I'm just going to fix that by going at an angle, at a drastic angle, and just kind of having that curve right back in. It does take some time and practice to get better at figuring out how to curve it so that transition isn't so stark. Just like I had to do that up here too. Yep, okay. It was like not even a 16th. So I wasn't too worried about it. Yeah, and that'll be closed in. So it's kind of flopping right there. I'm not worried about that because I know that's going to get caught in the seam. So I just have to make sure, which I will put a clip right there, and that will remind me that I need to make sure of that. Yeah. Look at that. Look at how pretty. It looks like a little blob creature. Like Blobby from Hotel Transylvania. Mainly it's the green, I think, that does that. Okay. Now that I'm done playing with the... So I'm lining up my gusset seams and putting a clip right there. I'm making sure that everything's lining up nicely. I'm going to move my zipper out of the way so that I can get a good, clean snip for my centers. I used to snip these centers at the table as well when I cut it, but I found that the center can move slightly sometimes, especially on the gusset, because if you have to like fiddle with anything, it will it'll do that. It'll move your centers, or your center will move, something to that effect. Okay. Take one breath away. You see, I have to even look for that one that's got that part that's got the piece missing. There it is. I'm trying YouTube to get better at knowing which way to turn so that you can see stuff. All right, now. Oh, it didn't move up. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Brenda, like I said, if you, and I'm sorry, the comments just decided to start coming in. With the helper, they are, if you just do search on Fat Rabbit Supplies, not Chubby Bunny Studios, Fat Rabbit, that will just do a search for zipper helper, and that should let you see how to order that. This is Frida. I'm so sorry. This is the Itty Bitty Bowler. And y'all are going to be so sick of this bag soon. So it's a Beetlejuice themed one. But for the flap, I put little gems in it. That's so much fun. And right now, this bump that I create to make sure that it's not too tight when it's made is actually really helping me out because it's keeping all the little beads in the bottom. So let's see how well this goes. All right. I've got my centers marked. I like to check too and make sure that I didn't mark too deep in there, and that I also actually did clip all the way through. See, like this one, it feels like it only kind of half clipped, so it'll make the center a little weird. Your hero. Okay. Now my note says, I thought I had a note on here somewhere. There's little hooks, just for anything describer. Yep. Flat side first. Okay. This is why I make notes. So I'm going to go ahead and do my panel side first. I'm going to start with my top. Your hero. Got Pop 2K on today, and it's pulling me back for sure. You know what's really odd is things that make you think of like high school, and then when you look them up, they came out like years after you were in high school, and you're like, why does this make me think of high school, you know? Because I graduated in 98. So, and that song was out like in 03. How? I don't know. It's just a little weird sometimes. Okay, so I've clipped my top. I've clipped my bottom. Now we are going to snip to help with the ease. The best tip I can ever give you is any type of round bound bag, like the Magdala from Ora Rosa. I found that if I clip no matter what, even if it feels like I don't need it, then it does help to get a nice circle shape. But also when you're putting on a gusset that's shaped, you want to make sure you remember how you start. Like, did you start from the bottom and move up? What I generally try to do is I try to start from the bottom a bit and go towards the middle, and then I go up to the top and start going around. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I've kind of got it pressed against me. That's how you know that your stabilizer is doing well. And I'm going to sew the first, my tacking seam with the gusset up. What I call a tacking seam is pretty much basting it together. I do it at a very small seam allowance so that I'm getting it's an advantage for two reasons to do it that way. One, it means that I'm not having to fight with the true seam allowance to get it to go where I want it. And having that second set of stitches helps to strengthen the bag without weakening the materials. Because sewing over the same hole, the same section that you sew on vinyl is, it's not a good idea. It really isn't. Okay, so, and then what I do, so I've got this kind of started. I've got my bottom started. So I'm going to push down so I can start looking at how I want this to go, because it does have that little pinch in. Every once in a while, I think I really should make the zipper panels wider. But I just love how adorable this bag is with these tiny zippers, with this tiny zipper panel, you know. And that little pinch in does nicely too. So it's like, Thank you, Brenda. I have your order. I think you're going to be in that first set too, because I had him just print out a few to make sure that I would have ones available, because the second I started showing off that helper, I had folks going, "Oh my God, I need one." I'm like, I know you need one. I need one. I have a really pretty metal one from Mormino, and I wouldn't have really worried too much about it if she had said that she was going to order them again. But that poor child. Okay, this was such a trial and a testament to how much she wanted this dream to be a reality, that all the troubles she went through to get them made right, to get them here, that, you know, she's like, I don't think I'm going to do this again, which is fine. You've got to always, as a creator, it's as a creator and a person who sells, it can be difficult. A little squishy. It can be difficult to remember that you are a person first. Your business, yes, your business needs to be a thing that is important, but your mental health and your physical health, your health, period, is the most important thing. I saw, Brenda. Thank you so much. And those will probably be shipping this weekend, because, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to get a bunch of stuff together, and I have to make sure that the order went through properly for the webbing. All right, so I've got that all done. Got the inside. Jesus, I wish I had purple bias tape. I bet you I do. I do. Where's that black? I don't know my colors. Okay. How much black bias tape do I have? Good Lord. Might have to be black bias tape. Hang on, y'all. I'm got a burr in my claw. Okay. No, that is purple. I knew that was purple. Okay. So I have black bias tape I was thinking of using, but I think I'm going to use this purple instead on the inside. I think it'll match better than the black. So we're going to go ahead and get this all stitched together. I have my trusty screwdriver. I'm going to move YouTube over a little bit so they can see slightly better. You'll be able to kind of see over. Okay, there we go. So again, I'm going to do a slight, I'm going to do a tacking stitch. Ooh. Hopefully not break a clip. All right, so I'm going at 1/8, which is why just about all my other basting stitches were less than 1/8, so that I could do this 1/8 without feeling like I'm stitching too much, perforating it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection with this. I'm looking for two things: it to be actually stuck together in the outside of my true seam, and that my edges match. That's all I'm really looking for. Because with that, that means when I go around with my true seam, I'm not going to have to fight to keep everything together still, like you would if you did your true seam the first time. I do know that some folks do their true seam first and then do a smaller seam when they put their binding on. That's perfectly fine because you're still giving two separate lines of stitching. And if you're like, oh yeah, I got this, this ain't no problem, then definitely do it to it. No matter what you do, I'm proud of you. No matter how you're putting that bag together, you got this. Now, I do know that some do it the latter. They do their true seam first, and then they tack on the bias tape after. Mainly because, good God, I'm so sorry. I'm dry. Oh, must be time to change the filters, or maybe not put so much pumpkin spice in my coffee. But the reason they do their true or their tacking is because they're concerned about the bias tape not giving them the seam that they want. Understandable. I do have that concern at times as well. I just make sure I just have a couple of things that I do. Come on, you. So that I don't have that issue. And what I'm doing is, that's why you're seeing me hold it like an ice pick. I'm taking the corner of the screwdriver, and this is from Mormino, and I love it. It's shiny, and it's just the right size. And I'm taking that, and I'm yanking the fabric, my gusset, where I want it. That's why with my tacking, I do gusset up and throw clips on the ground, apparently. Come on. No, that's not where I want you, and you know it. Come on. There we go. I guess one of my things with a bound bag is I don't want to use the word obsessed, but obsessed seems to be the only one that comes to mind. I'm obsessed with making sure my seams match, which is why I don't like an overtly tight gusset. So just about every bag that I make, the gusset has been adjusted so that it's not so tight. I don't want to fight with the gusset that much. That's just how I am. All right. I gotta quit almost cutting my gloves. Oh, God, that's better. And what I'll do after I eat is I'll put my hands in the massager for a minute. My nose keeps itching too. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I think I got this at Joann's. It is actually 7/8 inch thick, or wide. I prefer 1, but it's like 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's not too big of a deal. So I'm just kind of running it along, getting it right where I'm going to need. And I use pinking shears. Then I know it's going to be the same size on the other side. I know it should be the same size on the other side. Okay. So I'm just going to use that as a measurement. So now I've got those two set. I'm going to put this aside. Put those there. And I'm still going to kind of singe these edges a little bit. It really only needs a touch. I'm just vigilant about what could happen and things that I don't want to happen are things unraveling. So I've got the length here. And I guess I could measure it at some point. Interesting. Okay. I don't give out measurements on my lives, on any of my videos, unless it's a pattern that I myself created or it's a free pattern and I've been given permission to give out those measurements. Like, I was double checking to make sure that I could do the modified Aries live this Saturday, because I don't like the thought of stepping on a creator's toes. And she wonderfully, Shannon, already has stuff, has all the caveats of doing any type of tutorial or video on the pattern site itself. And she welcomes folks to do them. Gosh darn it, come on, you. Stay for a second. There we go. She does not mind folks doing tutorials. There just needs to be no measurements given, no no pieces shown on a grid map of any type, a measuring map, what is that? A cutting board, you know, any type of measuring on it. And then, of course, credit given. I'm like, well, that's stuff I already do. Good God. Yeah, I know it's spring outside when I am miserable just looking at the outdoors. I have to get some Benadryl in that. Oh, I love this one. All right, so now I'm going to start on a side that I know isn't going to be seen. We're far away from here. Yes. Thinking everything's a mess. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to actually put it on the seams itself and not on the actual like gusset or the back panel. Doesn't feel like the middle. That definitely isn't. There we go. So it's this, you have to make sure that if you're going, wherever you're going to be sewing and you're not going to see, that you're going to catch that bias tape. So I just make sure, I try to make sure that it's in the middle, but that the place that I'm not looking is going to have the most of it. Sleep away the afternoon. And I'm going to come back around. Try to match it up as best I can. Okay. So I didn't like push it down, so I still have to wrap it around. Please don't tell me that I'm still asleep. So if you're worried that your seams aren't going to do well with a true seam on the with the binding, just make sure that you're rubbing it against the seam. I'm so sorry, YouTube. I forgot you over there. So right here, so you're making sure that this is your seam. This is what you're going to be sewing along. Okay, I see you. Okay, yeah, that's good. So then what I do is I come up to this and I start pushing down. Come here, you. I tried once going on the inside first, but it didn't seem to work really well. It was a lot more of a fight than I really wanted it to be. And I say it every time somebody asks me, well, you know, I'm not, or tells me, they're like, well, I'm not very good at binding. Well, if you don't keep doing it, you're not going to get good. I don't even want to think about the first bound bag I did. It was, well, I know it was a Speedwell. And the binding was, I think the only reason the binding actually like stayed where I wanted it to stay at least was because I decided that I was going to glue it on so that it didn't move. That was probably the only reason it did it that much. All right, move you back over here. So now I'm going to sew in the round. So I'm going to put my foot here and just go at my true seam allowance all the way around. It's going to give a nice curve. Look at how cute that's looking so far. Playing peekaboo with YouTube here. All right. So this one has a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm lucky enough that my nails can act like stilettos, but sometimes I still use my screwdriver because it's got a sharper point. I actually, like, one of the the first time I got them, my nails done as stilettos, like with really big points, but I just, I kept stabbing myself in the eye. And it just didn't seem like a good idea for me to have little sharp points on my nails. My husband also called the fact that he felt a little afeared for his life because I toss and turn in my sleep. So I think he was a little worried that when I would toss, I would probably slag him a couple of times. And I think that's a valid fear. If your partner, like, see, I'm going to have to use my screwdriver because I have this like really obnoxious bump and it looks like it was stuck together with the tape. So I want to make sure that isn't so obvious of a fold. There we go. You know what's really nice is when everything's going pretty well on a bag, because that bag just wants to be made. Like, it's like, I've been waiting. Hello? Why haven't you made me yet? Oh. Nikes. There you go. Does anybody else have a bad habit of holding stuff in their mouth? Like, I really have a bad habit that, you know, when I'm trying to fiddle with a pin, right between the lips it goes. I have to be careful with this one too, because I use this with the classic zip around wallets, and this is what I use to put the glue on. So I have to make sure that I'm not really kind of putting this. I don't want to accidentally poison myself. Come on, you. So close. Come on. I'm going to kind of... Oh, where are you going? Sorry, my binding is being a little bit of a butt. There we go. That's what it is. Boop. And we have one side done. Okay. Look at how stinking cute that is. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad the purple. I like the purple. Caught it all the way around. I like the purple with that green. It matches so nicely with the outside. Okay, so here comes the fun. Ooh, world. All right. So, fun thing with waterproof canvas is sometimes the edges do this little, like if you're too close to the selvage, it might try to fray. Or if you pull a thread just weird, it'll kind of do this weird thing. Just go through with the lighter. It'll melt it. Yes, it is Beetlejuice. It says, go ahead, make my millennium. So this is the one side of it, the flat panel side. Got string stuck to me. And then this is the other side I'm about to attach. It's a shaker. It shakes. Oh, and it's a loud shaker too. That makes me so happy. Yeah, these gems were a good idea. I almost got like red ones to go with it, but I'm like, nah, that's too Christmassy. It's either got to be red or green, but I like that greenish color. I wish it was a little more lime, but I think I'm still pretty happy with it. So I know with this side, you know where your curves are. Just go ahead and clip them. There's no reason to not. You know you're going to need it. So you might as well just go ahead and clip them. And this way you're not having to fight with anything. Yes, stomach, I know. Lunch is soon. You'll be fine. We're almost done. Good Lord. Another reason I really like doing these itty bitties right now is they're a nice quick sew for the live. I feel like I can get the full bag done. Honestly, if I wasn't stopping to like chitter chat, I would already have 3 of these done. However, that's not always what happens. But we'll see how I feel after doing 8 of them. because I didn't mind the bend and snaps. I was like, oh, these will be fun to make. These are fantastic. And then, halfway through the 10 I did at once, I was like, what is wrong with me? Why do I hate myself? This is a problem. Okay, so I started from the bottom. Now that means I want to do that. Also, by the way, if you're wanting more stability on the bottom, like you want it to have like a nice firmness, you can take a quick measuring of the bottom area, because you can see nicely where the bottom is. Cut out a piece of like Peltex or even Craftex, and before you sew this on, just pop those stitches, throw that in there, or even when you're basting, and that way it's got that firmer bottom. Just a thought. In case you want kind of a hard body type of bottom on your bag. So I'm doing the bottom curves first, just kind of letting that sit nicely. I've got some good sandwich meat in the fridge. It's a buffalo chicken and some really nice provolone. It's going to be so nice to get. It's such a good sandwich. Okay, mainly just trying to keep everybody in the vid. Alrighty, so I am clipping this now at the top. I will do curves. I won't work up to the top. I will work a curve first and then work the other curve. So in this case, I'm working the bottom curve and then the top curve. That's because this middle area is perfect to have that wiggle room maneuvered about. There we go. Like it's trying to be a little bit of a brat. There we are. Now I need that actually pushed up. There we go. And remember, I have that section here that I need to make sure that's pushed up or it's going to twist the seam. Nobody wants a twisted seam. And it's so interesting when you think the mechanics, you think you understand the mechanics of a bag enough that you're like, oh, well, I know this is going to work better this way. When I did these again, I noticed that I was putting the pocket first because I thought it would be better to be able to see the flap and all of that better. But it turns out that it's a lot easier if I do the flat panel first because it's more squishable than the flap panel. If that makes sense. So flat, nothing, no slip pocket panel. There we go. Good Lord. Okay, let's do this. I got my screwdriver. I'm going to get my stitch started because I always hold my threads so that they don't nest. Okay, I'm going to undo my zipper. Remember when it was like the end of the world if you didn't have your zipper open? Because those pre-made zippers, they did not want to open as easily as a number 5 does, like these. It's just so much better. Shut up. My stomach is growling so hard right now. I know, stomach. But we're getting there. Oh, let me There we go. Alrighty. Again, just holding it down. So if I do longer bags, would y'all rather that I did like held off and finish the bag on the next live? Or would going live later and just sewing and glancing, like having something in my ear, listening to a book or whatever, doing almost like ASMR sewing on YouTube be okay to finish the bag? Because unless it's a strike, I mean, I don't really have a problem with, oh, like something popped. I don't really have a problem with finishing a bag on a second live. And I feel like, oh, madre de Dios. Especially seeing as most of the time, I really want to do the lining. I like doing my linings first. So, I do, oh, madre de Dios, come on, you dumb clip. Let go. I'm hungry. Don't mess with me, clip. Because with the Erica that I did on Saturday, that is what I did, is I went back on YouTube Live afterwards, after I picked up my husband, and finished the bag. Because I also really like showing everyone new stuff. Because I know there's bags that don't have, oh, for the love of all there's Pete. There we go. Sorry about that. So I was thinking if I at least get the bag finished on YouTube, then you can go back and watch both videos. But if I do it live, then all you're having to do is, you know, I'll still like keep an eye out for questions, and I can just pause my book. y'all have to know that I talk to the book when I'm listening to it. Like this other book that I just finished, which was really good. I take a star off. It's like a 4 out of 5 for me, definitely. But I took a star off because the main character bothered me. The just some of the way they constantly were taking blame for everything. What is going on here? Come here. The way they were taking all the blame all the time, like it's all my fault, when it, you know, okay, how is it your fault that you let your crew take a vote to go on this ghost ship? Because I'm blaming all of them for not having a thought process to go, maybe we shouldn't mess with this. But I'm also a horror girly, so just about everything that looks sketchy, I go, nope. I walk on by. So my husband and I were watching this movie called The Midnight Man. It's so good. And they find this box in the attic, and it's like tied with all this string. I'm like, oh, that's a box of nope. Let's go ahead and put that. Nope, we're opening it. Okay, so we're finding this game. Okay. Maybe we should just go ahead and burn this. Okay, no, we're going to figure out how to join the game. But you know, let's read the rules first. No, we're just jumping on in. Okay, great. Teenagers are dumb. Sometimes teenagers are just not wise. And I'm just like, why are they doing this? But my husband's laughing at me because I'm like, why are they doing this? but it was really good. You see a lot more of the Midnight Man than I thought you would, and it was done really well. So if you like horror movies, it's good because of the effects and the writing. It's very interesting. Once I stopped thinking about what I would do and start going, well, if I was a teenager, what would I have done? And Aaron's like, you still would have burned that thing. I'm like, of course I would have still burned it. Have we not talked about my nightmares before? All right, full glass of water. As I finished my coffee, make sure that everybody can see me. Boop. But yeah, the way the Midnight Man comes into play and comes out, appears and disappears. It's just, whoever did the effects, they are amazing. Got my binding, got my bag, got my sanity. Oh, who here actually believes that? Okay. And once again, I'm starting on the gusset up here by where the zipper is. I've got my zipper closed for right now. I do it here because it's not going to be noticeable. We're just going to go right around. I'm going to ignore the growling of my stomach. If y'all hear a weird noise, I am so sorry. That is my stomach. Oh, snap. Okay, going along that seam. Okay. So whichever side you're sewing, that's the side that you want to have a little less. And that will help you to be able to catch all of your stitching. Hi, Lefty! Just on here listening to me ramble about a horror movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I sometimes feel something in the hallway and go run into the bed. So I'm rubbing against the seam and then pushing it down. And I'm doing this so it's pinched. Better than work. Sometimes you wake up and you choose lazy, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I channel my inner sloth when my mentality needs it. Come on, there we go. Right. With the double-sided tape on it, it should stick pretty nicely. If you feel like it's pulling up, then you can always put a clip. Like I always clip the corners. Okay. Final go round. Here we go. This is going to be fun because we're in the round, but we've got the thick part. Let me make sure that YouTube's good. Sorry, the wires are all over the place. There we go. Alrighty. Squish that under. Get it started. Get my trusty screwdriver. The worst part is sometimes when I get sometimes when I get hungry, I get either impatient or I start to get short-tempered, angry. So it's like I have very little patience for clips right now. I need them not to be in my way or not to almost rip my nail off because it didn't want to pop off the dang project. So I'm just like trying to take a breath and go, okay, I'm going to eat soon. I know my stomach is growling. It'll be fine. I just want to go ahead and get this bag done. And then it'll be lunchtime. And then it'll be get my nails done time. I'm very excited. I'm always excited to go get my nails done. And I sent her a picture this time because I'm thinking cotton candy nails would be kind of cute. Like maybe some little clouds, but with like pinks and blues, like blues. Never give up on you. Wanna do this again. The screwdriver also, with especially this side, helps me to push down the seam and to make sure that everything is getting pulled into it. Okay, so yeah, I'm really having to make sure that the clips are not in my way because there's already like 4 on the ground and it's making my left eye twitch knowing that they're down there. And I used to have my clip bowl on my right, but I'm having my husband work on he gonna kill me for sharing this, but I really want one. I want a table clamped bowl that I can set over here onto my right that isn't in the way of my reverse lever and isn't in the way of me fiddling with the wheel. Right now, my little cauldron kind of gets in the way sometimes. Okay, come on. Stop it. There we go. Alrighty. Move you back over here. Okay, so first I'm going to clean up my clips. Also, my current clip bowl is a little large. It's the very first ghost bowl that we made. And it's because my husband doesn't understand scale sometimes. Because he made it, I was like, how many clips do you think I have? Now, to be fair, this thing is full now. But that's only because I keep buying clips or getting them in like a cup, Lauren. So he has to sit over here in the corner because he's too large to go over where I normally like. Because I really like having my clips to my right because I'm right-handed and the machine is on the right. I do have some B grades. If you join my Facebook group for that, Fat Rabbit Supplies, and look up and do a search for B grade, you will see that there is a listing. You can claim one of those if you want. They're a little bit, of course, they're, not the same size, or same price. So but I do want a clip, like a table clamp with a bowl on it that kind of sticks out almost like a cup holder so that I can put my clips in it over here too. I don't mind having the ghost bowl there because he's adorable and large and in charge, and my husband's so proud of him, which is fine. I'm proud of it too. But sometimes it'd be nice to be able to just shove the clips over here into the bowl instead of having to pull them over and set them over there. So I have my hand, the Waka Waka hand. putting my fingers in this section and my thumb in this section, and I'm pushing inside. And then with that hand, I'm kind of starting to push it. Now, before I start pulling out, I'm going to do the same on the other side. And we're going to squish it. And the moment I can, I am taking stress off of my zippers. You should look to do that too when you're doing, we need all the table space. So much table space. You really should work on doing that, taking that stress off of your zippers, even when you're birthing a bag. The moment you can, pull that out so that the zipper tape isn't being stretched beyond its means. All right. Let's see how everything looks. Because this was a largish image, so I want to make sure that it's sitting properly. I want to see how my stripes look. Because sadly, there wasn't enough panel to really match up those stripes, to match those stripes perfectly. Which is fine. I don't mind. It's chaos. It's Beetlejuice. Of course it's going to be chaotic. Okay, so I've got that pushed out. Start working on my zipper. The Facebook group is Fat Rabbit Supplies. Okay, I'm making sure that everything's held into stitching. That basting stitches aren't done. Aren't showing through, because if your basting stitches are showing through, there's a good chance you didn't catch something properly. Oh, it shakes so good. Oh my God, I love it. Okay. So, ta-da, see? So it's got these gems in it. And it's got the little slip pocket with my little label. And then it's got little Lydias all over the flap. Got gems, so when you're sitting there, oh God, that's satisfying. And then of course we've got his little bit of attitude on the other side. So now we just have to do I have to be careful. I will sit here and fiddle with a bag so much. Okay, so now we just have to add the strap. So I'm just going to kind of sit that there for a moment. Get my strap. So what we did to start is I went ahead and attached my slider. And I'm going to put the piece with the cover inside. I'm going to take, I think it goes, yes. So it's hard to remember sometimes. So I have technically wrong sides together. I'm going to take the strap end and put it through from the zipper panel out. Then I'm going to go up and through my slider. I'm going to pull that taut. Now, the way you know that you've got it correct is when you lay your strap over the bottom. Your slider should be sitting face up, not face down. So that means that you've got that correct. So what I'm going to do though is a little bit different this time. Get a couple tiny pieces of tape. Alrighty. So I have a piece of scrap. I'm putting 2 small pieces. Now, normally when I do this, it's because I'm going to put the swivel hook here and attach it to the webbing. I'm going to do something similar. So I'm going to put, shiza, hang on, this way, no, this way. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Make sure that that's about halfway. Keep it pinched a little bit. Make sure that when I grab my, there we go. So, and then I'm going to line that up on the scrap. You can do it as long as you want it. This is not adding length to the bag strap, just so you know. All it's doing is closing in that piece. Oh, no, you don't have to apologize. It's quite okay. This is the Itty Bitty Bowler by Sew Yours, S-E-W Yours. I did do the front like the pattern is with a little flap, but the other side usually has a zipper overlay here and a zipper pocket. I didn't do that because I had this amazing Beetlejuice panel. And I do love it. It's so cute. Look at it. Look at his little face. His little face is so cute. I'm doing a strap that is attached and not detachable, but is adjustable. I also put shaky things in them. There we go. And my YouTube does have the video of me making this. I do broadcast my live on YouTube so that it'll be watchable again. So I've got my little strap piece here, which somehow that right there lines up. Stop. I need it to stop. It's crazy. Okay. So I'm going to have to kind of squish the bag a little bit so that I can get in here. And I'm just going to do a little box. Oop, clicked something. Okay, come on, over this way. Just. Okay. Yes, this does make the bag a little harder to finish. But to me, it's worth it because I'm not adding an extra like $10 worth of, of hardware to this bag. Because with an adjustable detachable strap, that's 2 swivel hooks and I'm having to use D-rings as well as adding in anything else onto it. I also don't put a metal tag on this bag. But I don't think it's that much trouble. I think it's worth, I definitely think it's worth it to just do it with a, come on, there we go. Ooh, my, actually, I don't even think I have to open the bag. All I got to do is come in here and pop that out. So you saw me squish the crap out of this bag to get it under the needle. You also could just do a rivet there if you really wanted to. That wouldn't be a problem at all. You can just put a couple rivets here or do a longer one and then rivet it. But there it is, all done. So And then on the back, we have the little slip pocket. So this only really has two pockets. It's got the slip pocket and then it's got the main compartment. And there really isn't anything in the main compartment to add to it. It is literally just a grab and go style of bag, which I do like. It's not my preference of carry bag, but when I was younger and I didn't have to carry, 700 different cards for everything going on in my life, I would probably carry something like this because it is petite and an easy grab, but my wallet won't fit in here. So, but it's also got little shakies, which I'm in love with. And then it does have an adjustable strap. It's just not detachable. And I don't think that's too big of a deal, but that's, on me. All right. Well, it is lunchtime, y'all. I am in need of food. Valkyrie needs food. If you know what that is, fantastic. I'll post a highlight with the information on the bag itself. After I sneeze, apparently. Oh, sorry. And by the way, if you have a problem with a sneeze just sitting there and you kind of can't get it to go, look into some light. Sometimes that shocks your retinas and forces the sneeze out. I don't know the science behind it, but I know it works. So there you go. You learned something new today, and I hope you had fun. I did. So I will see y'all later. I hope everyone has a good day. Bye. Maybe. So bye, TikTok. You're welcome. Boop. And good afternoon to you too, YouTube.